Hello. How are you today? Great. So you're here for a kind of an itinerary prep today? Okay. And I know you mentioned on our phone call you were thinking Italy? Okay, great. No, I've never been, but I've advised a lot of customers on plans for Italy, so I think that I can help you. We do have a itinerary based on the number of days that you're thinking of going. How many days were you thinking? 10? Okay, great. And the more days the better, obviously, because you get to see more. If you find that you want to, stretch it out to 14, just let me know and we'll add on more things to your itinerary. Great. And so in Italy, are there any towns that you are interested that you know you have to see? Rome. Right. Thinking Florence. Okay. Okay. Venice. Alright, great. So you want to enjoy Italy very slowly, but there are a lot to see, and it's not easy to just travel across the world, so everyone has limited vacation days, and so I'm going to try to give you, the best experience that you can get within the 10 days. Okay, so it packs in a lot, and you may not feel rested when you arrive home, but you will feel, extremely excited, and you're going to have so much extra energy while you're there, and really take it all in. So, you know your travel style and your preferences. I'm thinking, just to start off, you'll fly into Rome. So day 1 through 3, I would dedicate to Rome. And if you want to add any more days, it's a beautiful city. It's got just gonna really help you understand Italy and its history, and it's got history stretching over 2,000 years. So let's see. Okay, so I've got on here. So I'm gonna put Italy day 1 through 3. So day 1, I would see the fountains and statues. So you're going to check into your hotel, kind of freshen up, get some rest after your flight, but I would just do kind of a stroll through the historic center. And it's going to take you along the beautiful cobblestone streets. Make sure you wear comfortable shoes, because, your ankles can hurt after a long day. And then you're going to go to the fountains with the marble sculptures. It's just gorgeous. So I would really recommend getting up early too, especially if you're wanting to go see the more popular fountains. But over there, like the Trevi Fountain, it's packed. So if you want to see it and you really want to enjoy it, go early in the morning. Alright, so over there, you're going to want to go see the Spanish Steps as well. Trevi Fountain. And restaurants are incredible, but my coworker did go to Italy last year, and she went to some of the restaurants, so I will give you a food guide, but I would really, if you're going to be over in that area, I would really recommend trying the restaurants in the Campo dei Fiori area. So Rossioli is known for their classic carbonara, so you have to try that. If you want to explore further, you can head over the Tiber River to the Traverse River, and it's just a beautiful old town that you can see. I would definitely, really explore that area. It's really very, very pretty. So day 2, I would dedicate to the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. So that's the day you're going to meet ancient Rome and all of its glory. So I would definitely, get up early and beat the crowds again. It's kind of a matter of the early bird gets the worm. So Colosseum and So this is a huge stadium, and it's the largest amphitheater ever built, and once held up to 80,000 spectators cheering on their favorite gladiator. So the Colosseum is an iconic monument of the Roman Empire, and it's a must-see sight in Rome. So next to the Colosseum, there is a huge field of ruins known as the Roman Forum. So this was the center of ancient Rome, where all the important government buildings and temples once stood. So nearby, Palatine Hill was a residential area for Roman nobility, and this is one of the 7 hills of Rome and provides incredible views of the city and ruins below. So I would pre-book your tickets, and I'm going to pre-book your tickets. So when I send you the link, but if you prefer, I can print them too. Would you like it if I printed them or emailed? Email? Okay, let me write that down. So, what I'll do is in your itinerary, I'll have your what you're doing each day, and then on the side it'll have the links to your ticket. So you can just use your mobile phone when you're there and just click it, and then they'll scan the QR code. Yeah, it's very convenient. So I will pre-book those for you. You have to go see them, so you can't skip that. You do have limited time, so you don't want to waste it spending time in line, and they can be very long and confusing. So just some tips while you're there: wear comfortable shoes, bring water, snacks. It's very open, so if it's cool, you're going to need a jacket, but it looks like you're going in September, right? So September. Yeah, I would bring a jacket just in case. You'll probably be fine, but you never know. You can't bring large bags or backpacks into the site. There is a lift at the Colosseum, so if you have small children or have difficulty using the stairs, you can use that too. So after the Colosseum, I'm going to have you take a stroll around Monte, which is Rome's oldest district, and just browse the boutiques, or simply, stop for some gelato. You have to get the gelato in Rome. If you can't get enough of the ruins there, you should go see Trezen's Market. Put that down for you. Interested in that? Which is the commercial hub of ancient Rome. And there's a lot of interesting artifacts in that museum over there. So lastly, you're going to go to the Piazza Venezia to marvel at the altar of the Fatherland, which is a huge classical style monument to its first king and soldiers who served at the First War. So you can take a lift again there to see the incredible views of the city. So I'm going to write that down for you. So I'm just kind of taking notes on stuff that you are interested in. And if there's anything that you saw online and did your own research, please fill me in. I will write that down and I'll look into it and figure out what we can do to make that work for you. Okay, so you were interested in the Vatican? Great. So, yeah, we can put that. So you have day 3. So, Vatican. So this is home to the Pope and thousands of architectural art treasures, so it's definitely, something to see. It's dominating the western side of the Tiber River, so you can't fail to be impressed by, just this beautiful monument of Christianity. The Pope himself appears in the Piazza San Pietro most Wednesdays to address the crowds. So if you want to take part in the audience, you should prepare yourself. You aren't interested in it? Okay, so let me write Wednesday. So maybe, well, we might have to move around because it looks like you're flying on a Sunday. So maybe we'll switch day 3 and day 2. Is that okay? Okay. Switch. 3. Wednesday. Okay, so if you are wanting to, you will need to go to if you're interested in seeing the Pope, there is a protocol for that. So you will need tickets, and you will need to pick those up at I don't remember what it's called. Let's see. So yeah, it starts at 9:30 a.m. Most people arrive early. Some people even 3 hours before. So I know there's a place where you have to go pick up the tickets. I need to look into that, but you basically have to show your passport and then they'll give you your tickets. You have to show your face. That makes sense. Okay, so to do that, I think that'll be wonderful for you. Are you interested in any of the Vatican Museums? Okay, yeah. And so let's do the Vatican Museums. So I'm going to pre-order tickets for you, and once again I'll put in that document. Okay. And then St. Peter's Church, it's free to enter. It's got marvelous, incredible artwork, including Michelangelo's piano sculpture and dome designed by the artist, so you have to see that. If you really like views, I would climb the stairs or take the elevator to the top of the dome. It's around 300 stairs though, so make sure you got water. It costs $10 to do it with the elevator and 8 without. So you can buy tickets there. I don't think you don't need to pre-order the tickets there. You can just go. So the Vatican Museums you were interested in? Okay, so let me tell you a little about those. So it's a collection of art and artifacts. It's one of the most extensive in the world. So inside the walls are masterpieces by some of the most talented artists, including Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. So this is one of the most popular sites in Rome and attracts millions of visitors a year. I would expect to spend around 2 to 3 hours there before you reach the finale, the Sistine Chapel. So they're open Monday to Saturday, so you should be fine. So I would see the Sistine Chapel with its famous ceiling painted by Michelangelo, the spiral staircase designed by Giuseppe Momo, and the Raphael rooms. Also, the Sala Rotonda, a smaller scale version of the Pantheon. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. And just some tips. No photography is allowed in the Sistine Chapel. You may not bring large bags or backpacks into the museums. If you have a small backpack, you can check it in. If you're traveling with kids under the age of 10, you might want to consider to book like a special family tour, because it's a long, it's a lot, 2 to 3 hours. They also have a very strict dress code, so knees and shoulders must be covered. No shorts, no hats can be worn as well. So after your visit to the Vatican, I would really recommend the Vatican Gardens. Interested in that? Okay, write that down. And also Peter's Tomb. So if you want to do Peter's Tomb, I'm going to have to pre-book that because the tickets are limited there. So the food there isn't excellent, so I would go off, the area. And then what are you looking for your hotel? Are you looking upscale, mid-range, budget, family? Okay. Just note that down because I will give you about 4 or 5 options. I'm going to send those to you tonight and kind of tell you where the location is depending on where you want to be. So getting around Rome, it's a very walkable city. You may need to access transport, you may not. There is a bus system, but it's found to be pretty slow, so just be aware of that. The cost is about €150, so you can buy tickets there. There's also taxis. Those are a little bit faster, so you just have to look for the taxi ranks. Alright, so that's Rome, and you mentioned you were interested in Florence. Okay. So we'll have to talk about how you're getting to Florence from Rome. So I would recommend the fast speed train, which is about 1.5 hours. So I'm thinking of booking your tickets for the afternoon, and then you're able to spend, your evening in Florence. Is that okay? Okay. And then same with the hotels. So you need a hotel for Rome, Florence. I was thinking for Florence, spending maybe days 4 and 5 there. Okay, great. So Florence is beautiful. It's the birthplace of the Renaissance and is now home to tons of art, masterpieces, delicious food, and some of Italy's best shopping. So it is a small city though, so it's very easy to wander and enjoy roaming from one historic plaza to another. So you literally can walk the same paths as some of the most important people in history there. So if you're not an art fanatic, it's hard not to be charmed by the slower, more refined pace of Florence compared to Rome. So if you're really not, I might even recommend, just spending less time there. Okay. So once you've checked into your accommodation, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I would definitely recommend seeing Santa Croce at sunset. And did you know that Michelangelo's tomb is found there? Yes. So I've got some restaurant recommendations here too. So Del Faiola. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong. Never been to Italy, so still kind of new. I haven't experienced it, so I apologize. I'm sure once you go there, you'll know how to pronounce everything because you have the experience of it. So for something a little bit more fancy, you might try La Terrazza if you're interested in that. And then there's also Ristorante Santa Elisabetta, which is a fine dining option as well. But I am going to just email a list of restaurants, and you don't really have to put restaurants on itineraries. I don't ever do that. I kind of just put a list and kind of pick and choose, or even if I'm just walking and I see something I want, I go. So I would recommend that. So for your first day, I would recommend going to Santa Maria del Fiore Cathedral and Accademia, which is the statue of David. So we know that Florence is an art lover's paradise, but even if you get kind of museum fatigue after an hour or so, you have to go to the museums in Florence. You have to, because you're there, you just have to experience it. So the building work in Florence started in the 13th century, and the famous dome designed by Filippino Brunelleschi was added in the 15th century, and it wasn't until the 19th century that the site was completed as we know as today. So the interior of the main cathedral is quite plain in contrast to the detail on the outside, but it also holds many treasures worth taking the time to explore. So I would definitely recommend that. Again, large bags, backpacks, suitcases are not allowed. You can store them. Make sure that you're covering your shoulders and knees again. So, let's see. And then I would just kind of take a stroll around Florence that day. Pick any food that you're interested in. Okay. And then I would recommend seeing the Galleria dell'Accademia as well. So it's possibly one of the most famous statues in the world. So Michelangelo's David is the main attraction there. So it was originally destined for the roof of the cathedral, and the statue made of Carrara marble was first placed in the Piazza della Signoria before it was moved to the Accademia in 1910. So after you've got your art fix, I'm sure you'll feel very overwhelmed with that. I would recommend heading over to the Arno for beautiful views of Florence. So there's a steep climb up the hill to Piazzale Michelangelo, but I promise you it is worth it. If you don't want to, you can always take a taxi. So you can see the panoramic view of the city, and it's just breathtaking. You also find some overpriced coffee up there. So day 2 of Florence, and does that sound okay for day 1 in Florence? So I'm just writing down things that you are interested in and not interested in. So day 2, I would recommend going to Uffizi, Ponte Vecchio, and Boboli Gardens. So the gallery, Uffizi, is one of the finest art galleries in the world. It has masterpieces around every corner from the priceless collection by the Medici, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong. So you can either do a tour there. It does get very busy, so I would pre-book. Are you interested in that? Okay, so I'm going to pre-book your tickets there. Don't forget to visit the second floor as well. But all of this will be sent to you in an email tonight once we get kind of more details. And then I would recommend strolling across the Ponte Vecchio to the Oltrarno district for shopping and lunch. And then, just spending the afternoon shopping in Florence. And then at night, or in the evening, go to Boboli Gardens. So there's many formal and informal gardens, but you may want to simply relax as well. And then your hotels, which I'll send you prices, and then I'll give you about 4 or 5 options that I think you might be interested in. So, as I said, Florence is very small. It's a very small city, so just be aware of that. Right. Okay, and then, were you thinking Siena or Milan? Milan? Okay. Alright. Go down. Okay. So if you'd rather stay in Florence, another option is to go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is about an hour from Florence. Something you could do. Were you interested in Tuscany at all? Yeah, okay. So let's go for Milan. So I would catch the train, so I'm gonna book your train to Milan and just kind of go over the things that I would do there. So it's Italy's most modern cosmopolitan city, and it's a lot of fun. So it's definitely worth more of your time, but you'll arrive into the main train station, which is a stunning building with grand proportions. You go to your hotel, check in. Then I would maybe go get some food, some drinks, whatever you're interested in. So some of the things I would see are, let's pull up here. So I would go to the Milan's Duma, which is the 5th largest Christian church in the world, and it's a really icon of the city. So they started building this in the 14th century and have continued for centuries. It's decorated with over 3,400 statues. And if you're hungry after, you've got to try the famous savory donuts around the corner at Via Santa Radegonata. Down, right? Don't forget that. Right. Okay. And then around midday, your first day in Milan, I would go to the Last Supper by Da Vinci. So it's truly a magnificent work of art that's still in place exactly where the master painted it, on the wall of the church. So tickets are very restricted and must be pre-booked. So would you like me to book that for you? Okay. And then after Milan, I'm going to transfer you to Venice. So it's about a 2.5 hour train, and I would definitely grab some food. Once you get to Venice, it's beautiful. People are kind of hit or miss on Venice. Some people love it. Some people are like, I don't think that was worth it. So it's still something I would see when you go there. So you can reach most places on foot there. Just be careful. There's a ton of bridges, and carrying your luggage over those can be kind of exhausting. So try to pack as light as possible. So your first evening in Venice, I would check in, ask your hotel for local recommendations. That's always a tip. And there are thousands of bars across the city serving snacks called kajeti. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And they're mostly seafood based, but you can also find meatballs and other delicious savory treats as well. And don't forget to order a local glass of prosciutto to celebrate your time there. So you're going to have 2 nights. On day 1, so after your night, I would go to San Marco and Doge's Palace. So after breakfast, head to San Marco. This is a huge square to 2 of the most important buildings in Venice, Palazzo Ducale and St. Mark's Church. So you'll also find the bell tower of the cathedral and the famous cafes of St. Mark's Square and the bronze-winged lion statue, which is the symbol of Venice. So another tip is a cup of coffee or meal at one of the cafes in St. Mark's Square is one of the most expensive you'll ever have, so be careful with that. The Venetian Republic was one of the more powerful forces in Europe for hundreds of years, extending their influence across the Mediterranean and beyond. So there's no better way to see this than viewing these incredible buildings. Alright, so would you like me to book tickets for those? Okay. Alright, and then the afternoon, I would just spend the afternoon kind of strolling around, looking at the architecture of the buildings, going to the restaurants, the cafes. Google Maps doesn't really work in Venice, so you kind of just have to explore. It's kind of part of the charm. You gotta go on a gondola, the typical experience. It's $80 for 30 minutes, 80 euros, and you can bring as many as 6 people. So if you don't need to book ahead, if you're interested in that, I can just put it on your itinerary. Okay. So let's see. Day 2, I would go to the Rio Alto Market and Burano. So the famous Rio Alto Bridge, you're going to take your hero shot of the Grand Canal before all the crowds appear. You're going to get there early. And you're going to see hundreds of different species of fish and a lot of different seafood there as well. And then you're going to spend part of your day in Burano, which is a small island not far from Venice, famous for the Instagram-friendly colorful houses and lace-making skills. So, let's see. Okay. And then, you were also interested in Tuscany. I'm going to try to figure out how to fit that in your itinerary and how to get you there. But I'm going to email you this right now. And I will be sending you hotels. I want you to look over those tonight. And I'll be booking your attraction tickets, your train tickets, and then also your flight over there. And then once you pick your hotel, I will book those for you as well. And if you have any other recommendations or things that you really want to do, just let me know. As well as I'll be sending you over a list of kind of the top food places in each city that you should go to, and they're not touristy, so don't be afraid. These are trying to give you the local experience. Alright, so I just sent that over, and I will see you next Wednesday.